Welcome to Get Over It, the consciousness transforming podcast for exceptional 21st century living. We've got a very interesting show today. We're going to be talking about awe. Like, oh, and awe. We have Allen Klein here, and he's going to talk about his latest book, The Awe Factor, how a little bit of wonder can make a big difference in your life. And folks, this is a great little book. I mean, I just hold it and I'll hold it up to my heart and it feels so good. Allen's book was voted by Spirituality and Practice Organization as one of the best spiritual books of 2020. Folks, this book will not disappoint. If you need something to pick you up as you're going through the pandemic and you might have a down day, this book will do it. And more importantly, it allows you to see the awe in your life. So I'm very excited to get to this talk with Allen about his book, The Awe Factor. Now, the information shared on Get Over It uses intuitive and pragmatic insight to help you shift your consciousness to break through blocks and release energy that is no longer needed. Yes, we're going to help you let go of the BS that has been holding you back. But you guys know I always ask that question, are you truly ready to? And by the way, folks, BS is belief system. A bit about me for my new listeners, intuitive since birth. I'm a third-generation intuitive with over 3 decades of experience supporting people to break through the blocks along their path. I'm a strategist for personal and professional transformation, revealing cutting-edge information that enables you to prosper and thrive. I spent 25 successful years in corporate America as an executive sales professional, and I am the founder of Healing Visions Ministries and the Northern California Children's Education Network, a 501c3 nonprofit. I provide consultations and healings in all areas of life that heal the mind-body-spirit connection, allowing you to live your very best life. My clients tell me that I keep it real while providing them with accurate information to assist them along their journey as a spirit living a human existence. But they also say, if you really don't want to know, don't ask Monique. My background includes a doctorate in metaphysics, Reiki master teacher, ordained minister, and clinical hypnotherapist. So whether you are stressed, depressed, or possessed, I can help. To find out more about me and the services that I offer, go to my website, and that's MoniqueChapman.com, and I invite you to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn. My guest today, Allen Klein, is an award-winning author and speaker showing audiences worldwide how to use humor and positivity to heal with life's not-so-funny stuff. Excuse me, he's the recipient of a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Association of Applied Therapeutic Humor, as well as a Toastmasters Communication and Leadership Award. He is also a TEDx presenter on the power of intention and the author of over 30 books, including The Healing Power of Humor and Embracing Life After Loss. His most recent book, The Awe Factor, shows readers how to live a little bit of wonder, how a little bit of wonder can make a difference in your life. And you can check him out at his website, and that is allenklein.com. That's ALLENKLEIN.com. Welcome, Allen.
Great to be here, Monique. And I love what you said about yourself. I feel I want to interview you now.
Okay, anytime.
So, Monique, how did you get started?
well, we'll save this for another show.
Okay.
Oh, love it, love it. Adam, my goodness, I was looking at a picture of my nephew and I called you him. Alan, the book, The Awe Factor, it's got a lot of buzz going on. It's been mentioned in the New York Times recently. You've got this big thing going on with New Dimensions Radio. Tell us, what inspired you to write this wonderful book?
Well, all of my books, I've written many. My first was The Healing Power of Humor. And that came out of the loss of my wife when she was 34. And
Oh,
she had a
wow.
great sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
And we would laugh a lot together. And I realized how humor helped us rise above the situation. So I wanted to share that humor could help readers rise above any difficult situation. Another book I wrote It was called You Can't Ruin My Day. And very briefly, that came about because I was real happy that day. I was going to the gym and I was caught speeding and got a speeding ticket.
Uh-oh.
And I got to the gym and my fellow gym mates was, how come you're still happy and singing? You just got a ticket. And I said, I'm not going to let that policeman or that ticket ruin my day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, how often we let other people and other things ruin our day, and I'm not going to let that happen. And nobody has to do that. We can all be happy when we want to be happy, and just so I have techniques of how to do that in that book. And this book came about the awe factor because I realized, particularly during the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
the things that used to bring joy to people were no longer bringing joy, that they were just concentrating on the negative stuff or all the bad stuff that was happening or might happen, even though it didn't, a lot of it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it was a very difficult situation and we're still going through it. But we always have that choice, Monique. We can look at the positive in stuff or we can look at the negative.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the pandemic, the difficult times, I start doing a list of some of the positive things that I experienced. And one of them, and it's happened every day since the pandemic started, is that every day my daughter and I at 5 o'clock speak on the telephone.
Ah.
And we have had some really heart to heart conversations that we might not have had otherwise. She's asked me questions about my heritage that we've never talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I got to know some of the things in her life that I never realized. So, you know, again, it's our choice. How we're gonna feel. What is our attitude? And what I realized looking around my life and looking back at my life that there were just so many awe moments.
Mm-hmm.
And that when we put our intention to find them, and that is actually what the awe research is finding, that we put out our intention to find more awe and wonder in our life,
Mm-hmm.
we start noticing it. And so that's how this book came about.
Okay, so why don't you define for us what you mean by awe?
Well, actually, when I start writing the book, it's funny you asked that because when I was thinking of writing this book, I took my former literary agent out for lunch to get
Mm-hmm.
his opinion on whether this is a worthwhile book to write. And he kept asking me, Alan, what is awe? What is awe?
Okay, trying
And
to
I
wrap his
kind
head
of,
around awe.
yeah, I kind of, I didn't have a great answer. I kind of hemmed and hawed, and so I start doing research on what is the definition. And it's really interesting to me because the dictionary said it was a reverence mixed with fear and wonder.
Hmm.
And I thought, fear, I don't experience fear in relationship to awe. And yet, when I look back as a young child, and you may have had this too, when there was lightning and thunder, I was
Mm-hmm.
scared stiff,
Oh
you
yeah.
know.
I was born and raised East Coast. We had interesting
Oh yeah,
storms.
me too. I was born and raised in New York City in
Oh, okay.
summer, or we go
Uh-huh.
to the Catskill Mountains or Far Rockaway or, the
Oh my
beach.
goodness. It's so interesting how much we have in common because I'm in Fremont, California, and you're up in San Francisco. I'm from Albany, New York, and you're from New York City. So we both were at the Catskills at the same time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
So I used to hide under the blanket, for
Uh-huh.
so, and there was awe and wonder when I looked at the lightning. Oh my God, the sky is lighting up. That was amazing. And yet the thunder would scare me and I'd hide under the blankets. So yes, the dictionary was right. It could be mixed with fear and wonder. Then
Mhm.
if you ask the researchers, what is awe?
Mhm.
You get a whole different definition, and it's when we experience their definition. When you experience something that is so vast, like the Grand Canyon or Niagara Falls, I guess,
Mhm.
that you kind of lose your whole, you have to kind of reorient your
Yeah.
sense of being, of how you are in the world.
Mhm. Yeah.
And in a way, it makes you smaller, and you realize, you realize who you are in uh, this
It's
vast universe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'll go out in my backyard at night and just look at the stars and I'll pick one that I think is like a zillion miles away and try to focus on it. And that strikes awe for me that, I'm looking at the star and there might be some type of energy on that star looking back at me. I mean, who
Yeah.
knows, right? So I mean the awe is just like all encompassing. Folks, we're speaking with Allen Klein. His book is The Awe Factor: How a Little Bit of Wonder Can Make a Big Difference in Your Life. And you can check him out at his website, and that is allenklein.com. ALLENKLEIN.com. So,
So
Allen,
Monique, wait a
yes.
minute. Wait a
Ah,
minute. I didn't tell you my definition.
oh, okay. What's your definition? I thought you did.
Actually,
Sorry.
that was your question. No, I
Okay.
told you the dictionary, I told you the researchers, but I have
Okay.
my own,
Okay. So your
which is
definition is.
more down to earth. Mine is when you have those wow moments, when you get goosebumps, when you say that took my breath away, or you can't explain exactly how that moment happened, or you're overwhelmed, or um, you say things, you look at something, and all of a sudden you go, "Oh my God."
Mhm.
Moments like that. And I've had many of those. The green flash in Hawaii, uh, meeting a friend on top of Yosemite, Vernal Falls Mountain that I hadn't seen in 40 years. I mean, stuff
Wow.
like that. You just did it. See? Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
those are special awe moments that we don't necessarily think of, but sometimes we miss them. And throughout your book, you talk about the energy of slowing down. Why is that so important to truly experience our awe moments?
Oh my goodness. Because today, we're multitasking, we're on the phone, we're on the computer, we're texting,
Mm-hmm.
we're FaceTiming, we're Googling. It's just like, and I'm guilty of it too. I'm not saying I'm not, but I also notice that when I slow down, the world is so much richer than anything I can get on my cell phone. It's just so amazing. I mean, once I went to a retreat and they gave us a raisin to
Mm,
examine for
yeah.
about a half hour.
Mm-hmm. I
And I
did that
realized,
same thing. Yeah.
yeah, a
Tell us
lot of
about it.
people. Yeah. And you realize how special that one raisin is and how amazing it is. And it's not like any other raisin in that whole world, in the whole world, or in that bag of raisins.
Mm-hmm.
And then you taste it, and you get to really explore it. And it's I did this probably 30 years ago, that exercise, and it
Mm-hmm.
really sticks with me, particularly when I could remember it and I'm having my meal and I could stop for a moment and look at the colors and the textures and think about the path that all that food took to get to me, with somebody planting a seed and
Mm-hmm.
nurturing and harvesting and getting it to the store, and the clerk in the store, and me getting it home. And I mean, it's just, to me, those are awe-inspiring moments when I could remember them, when I have the intention again to um, remember that there's all around me, and to notice it.
hmm I don't know about you, but when I did that experiment 30 years ago, after examining the raisin and putting it in my mouth and actually allowing it to almost melt before I bit it, the flavor which was much more vivid.
Right.
I mean, you could taste the intricacies within the flavor, where usually, I'm just like a handful of raisins in my mouth, chomp down a couple of times and it's gone. So it's amazing.
Right.
Folks, try it. Okay, you guys at home, try it. Just one raisin and look at it for a bit, examine it, all the little nooks and crannies and wrinkles, and think about the grape it used to be. And, then put it in your mouth and just slowly allow yourself to ingest that. You will be amazed. You'll be awestruck by what you find. Now, Alan, you talk about, and this is interesting, how a common refrigerator can have some awe in it. Now tell me about that.
Okay, I love this story because I heard it on the radio and it kind of knocked me off my seat. It was an all moment for me and it was an all moment for the person in the story. But there were three prisoners
Mm-hmm.
uh, getting out of prison that day, and there was a reporter there asking them what were they looking forward to. I mean, they were incarcerated for 10 years, most of them. What were they looking forward to when they got out of prison? And one said, naturally, being with my family. And the other said, I love baseball. I just can't wait to get to a live baseball game. And the third prisoner said, I'm looking forward to opening the refrigerator. And I thought, that was an incredible answer because he had not. I thought that's kind of crazy, having been in prison 10 years, but he could not get a glass of milk. He could not determine what he was going to take out of the refrigerator for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
This was an incredible moment for him that he couldn't do for 10 years. And so for him, it was an awe moment, and for me to just hear that answer. But how many of us even notice the refrigerator, when we go to it? So, and the point is, and the reason I love that story is because any object, anything in nature, which is the biggest generator of all, but even man-made objects could
Mm-hmm.
be generating awe in certain circumstances. And again, it's all up to us. And so I think awe can also be in the mind of the beholder.
Mm-hmm.
Monique, you might see something that you think is awe-inspiring, and I might look and go, well, not for me.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone, it's for years, and I still do humor workshops, having written The Healing Power of Humor. But I realized everyone's sense of humor, everyone's funny bone is in a different place.
Mm-hmm.
And just as awe for all of us could be in different places.
Wow. Well, in your book, you share a story that really caught my attention, and that was the couple, excuse me, at the airport that was about to miss their flight. Share that story and then how it came full circle. Was it a year later or years later?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Oh,
share
this
that, please.
hardly believe, this is one of those I can't believe this happened moment. I was on my way to New York City, San Francisco, New York, and I met this couple next to me, and they were kind of grumpy and upset, and I kind of noticed that, and I start chatting with them and tell them my theory about not letting anyone ruin their day, but their flight had been um, canceled or longly delayed to London. And they were really upset because they had theater tickets for
Mm-hmm.
one of the top shows in London that evening, shortly after they arrived, and now they were going to miss it. And so they were very upset. And I gave them some techniques of using not to be upset and kind of assured him that no matter what happened, they had control and just rise above it. They're going to London, they're on vacation, enjoy that. That was it. I never saw them again until a year later. I was in the theater in San Francisco,
Mm-hmm.
and this man comes over to me, and he looked a little familiar, but I really didn't know who it was. And he said, "Do you remember me?" He said, "About a year ago, we were in the airport together. My flight was canceled, and you gave me some great advice." He said, "Because we kind of put the flight being late and delayed or canceled behind us, and we just, left it up to the universe to see what would happen." And he said, "What happened was um, they put us on an earlier flight, they upgraded us. We had a much better experience than
Mm-hmm.
sitting way back in coach.
Mm-hmm.
And we got there early, in fact, and we had some rest and we got to see our show." He said, "Thank you so much for your advice."
Wow. Amazing how it can work out if you can just like breathe for a moment. Now, in your book, you talk about being present. Is that the same as being mindful? And if yes, explain it. And if no, explain it, please.
Yes, I think it is a definitely yes. When we're
Okay.
present, we're mindful of the things around us. And if we're more present, if we're more mindful, then we're going to see more awe and wonder in our life because it's always there, but we're so busy or so upset or so stressed out that we don't see it. So, yes, being
Mm.
mindful. Some of the three little words I give people to remember that is to stop, look, and listen. Because in each case, you have to be more mindful to stop and then look around you and then listen to what's happening.
Okay, so when you say listen, you're meaning physically listen and also listening to our intuition?
I didn't think of it about intuition, but yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and folks, the intuition that's talking to you is that nice, calm, small voice that's saying, consider doing this, not do this, because that's not intuition. That's some other energy screwing around with you that you don't want to necessarily bring into your consciousness. Now, Alan, you just said something. You said two words, stressed out. Because of the pandemic and just daily life stressors, people are stressed to the max. What can they do to even think about finding their off factor?
Well, I did a 2 week workshop last year, and every day they gave us a hint or what's the word I want? Oh, I can't think of the word right now, but they gave us a word or,
Hmm.
go look when you go out today and your travels today, look for this thing, whatever it
Okay.
was, and take a picture of it. And I did that. And one day the word was find something, everything in the shape of hearts.
Hmm.
And I went out with my dog and I came back. I didn't find any hearts, but I noticed I was growing morning glories around my front gate, and every leaf was heart shaped. And I had been walking in and out of that at least 3 times a day, walking the dog, if not more,
Uh-huh.
and never ever noticing that those leaves were heart shaped. So
Wow.
I think, and I do have a TED talk on this, the power of intention.
Hmm.
If we put our intention out there, if we to find more awe, we will find it. And the really incredible thing about this, Monique, the latest research, they took a group of people, older people, 60, 70, 80-year olds, 28 in each group,
Hmm.
told each group to do the same thing once a week to take a 15-minute walk. Except the second group, they said, when you go out and you walk, look for something that amazes you or awes you or provides some wonder for you.
Hmm.
And then they tested them 8 weeks later. The group that was instructed to find the awe that had that intention,
Hmm.
they said they had more positive emotions because the other group that did not have that instruction and one person said, well, when I was on the walk every day, I think about the trip I'm taking in 5 days, and I wasn't packed and I have to go shopping and I don't have enough time. They were concentrating on things that upset them or was negative, where the R group was concentrating on positive things and overall said they were happier than the other group.
Wow.
All
Amazing.
because a little intention of whatever it is, but this in this case was awe, finding
Hmm.
your awe.
Why is it that we are not programmed, if you will, as children to set our intentions so that we can start manifesting in our lives?
Good question. Uh, I know when I grew up, I wanted to be a scenic designer. I was taken to see my first Broadway show at 7 years old.
Uh-huh.
I guess I was in awe that I sat so well through that show. I was taken to see my second show. And yet, I kept, from that day on, I kept saying, I want to be a scenic designer, make those pretty pictures on stage. Most people, my teacher didn't even know what that was.
Hmm.
And my parents, my father wanted me to be an accordion player. I don't know where that came from.
Okay.
And my mother wanted to be a doctor. They never really supported what I wanted to be. And I think that could be one of the reasons. Parents have their own definition of what they would like their child to be,
Hmm.
rather than what the child wants to be. So that could be one of the reasons, just off the top of my head.
Okay. It's just amazing. Now, in your book, you talk about final awe, and you talk about a gentleman by the name of Liam, who was witnessing his brother's death, the exact moment of his brother's death, and most people don't get to see that exact moment and how awestruck he was. When I was reading that, and this has come to me several times, I think I've mentioned it on the show before, I started thinking about the fall foliage, especially if you're in the East Coast, Maine down to the Carolinas, probably. In the fall, people go for hours long rides just to look at the foliage. And to me, the foliage is death because it's the leaves dying, but they're changing colors and it's beautiful. Now we haven't talked about this, but what are your thoughts around that and being awe?
You are so right. I always thought that, the green of a tree is its life, it's growing, and then when it's turning color, it is dying.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a beautiful process too. I have been a hospice volunteer and I've sat with a number of people who were imminently dying.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat with my wife right after she died.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a certain calming, a certain beauty, yes, a certain sadness.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing, when I worked at hospice, so volunteered at hospice, three of the patients I work with that I could tell they were really near death. All three of them said either I want to get up, I want to go up, or I want to go around the block.
Mm.
It struck me that they knew that this is kind of the end and they want to transcend all this in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there really was like the spirit lifting. You could almost feel it if you're with someone who's dying, that the spirit is leaving the body
Mm-hmm.
and the body is just this thing we carry around and help us exist. So yeah, I think there's a very beautiful moment, and often we don't. I know with my wife, my mother-in-law wanted to call the undertaker right away, and I said no. My daughter was coming home from school, and we sat with the body for a
Mm-hmm.
long time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in Liam's case, the wife wanted also was Also, not really being there in the moment, being mindful, talking about being mindful of
Hmm.
someone just died, and let's just acknowledge that and
Hmm.
let's just be with it, because it's a very precious moment.
Yeah, definitely can't get it back, nor would most people want to, but it is very special. And I want to switch gears for a moment. You have coming right up actually at the time of the show airing, this will be your second week, but other people can join a 5-week class that's sponsored by Unity. So tell us about that and tell us how
Okay.
people can connect.
So it's a 1 hour class. It'll be for 5 weeks.
Hmm.
Your listeners can join anytime they'd like. It's on Wednesday nights, 5 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time. They can join from anywhere in the country.
Hmm.
And all about the class and to register, it's on Unity's website. It's Unity SF, like San Francisco, dot. And here's where I should have looked it up. Funny. It's either
Well, you know
dot
what?
com or dot org.
Okay, well, folks, he's gonna send me the link and I'm gonna put it in the show notes so you guys will have
Okay.
access. I
But it's
know.
going to be fun. Each week we're going to
Hmm.
look at one scientific research on awe. We'll look at
Hmm.
several stories. There'll be sharing of the audience's awe moments, certainly questions they want to ask, some fabulous quotes. I'll end each session with a quote about awe. And, me being the world's only jollytologist, it's not only going to be about awe, but it's going to be fun.
Oh, I like that. Jollytologist. I'm actually writing it down. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Now, you've written, books on humor and, healing and all of that. Every time I think about humor and healing, I think of Norman Cousins. Was he a huge influence in your work?
Yes, and not only a huge influence, but I was on before there was Zoom.
Hmm.
There was some kind of broadcast thing that I was on two shows with him that was broadcast to hospitals all over the country. So I actually met him, which was
Oh,
fabulous.
wow.
That was just great,
Hmm.
because we had to do it in person then. You could not do it like this. Uh, and yeah, he healed himself, he said, with humor. And um, you know, and that's how I got into the humor field because my wife had such a great sense of humor and
Hmm.
helped us rise above that situation. So um, yeah, he was a big influence. Without him, I probably would have never been in that field.
Hmm. Well, folks, if you have some humorous shows or whatever out there, hey, send me an email. I will actually put them on the my website so that people can refer to them because I'm the one that goes to a comedy show and unless the comic is really funny, I'm sitting there stone faced. I mean, you gotta like step it up to get me to laugh. And the last time that happened, I went to see D.L. Hughley and he had me rolling in the aisles. But laughter is truly, truly, truly important. Um, Alan, before we go, why do you believe that awe is the new happy?
New happiness, yeah, because of what it's only been 8, 10 years that researchers have been interested in this subject and start doing research on it. And as I said in the one that just came out, where people went for a walk, it's a pretty easy thing to get in your life. And as the research is showing, it can make you happier. And there are other research showing various, like it could help with inflammation, so it could keep you healthier.
Hmm.
Uh, so there are a number of studies now that have shown how awe could could help us be happier and healthier. And
Hmm.
so for many, many years, and there's so many books on happiness, which is great. But I think it's time that we look at other ways to be happier. And I think awe could be a really easy, simple one um, that actually doesn't even take anyone else. It's all you do it yourself. Could be
Mhm,
do it yourself.
mhm.
And so I just think it's the new way to get more happiness in your life.
Okay. And how can we utilize awe during this time of pandemic? I mean, people are thinking about, how many people have passed away and necessarily probably didn't have to pass away, but that's another subject, another show. It's about, people struggling, whether it's financially. I mean, we still have food lines, going the whole 9 yards. How can we find some awe within all of this heavy energy that we're dealing with as a
Right.
society?
Well, like any intervention, Oz not going to solve everything,
Right.
but it does for momentarily. It just like humor, it just helps us focus on the positive and at least put the negative stuff behind us for a little while.
Hmm.
And we know that stress is not good. So if we can put some of that stress behind us, I think it truly will keep us healthier.
Okay. Easier said than done, but good words. And we just have to work on, the stress, whether it's mental, physical, and or whatever. Move your body, folks, because that'll help reduce some of that stress. Um, Alan, our time has gone so quickly, and I am so thrilled with our interview. Why don't you share a pearl of wisdom with our audience? What words would you like to leave with our audience today?
Oh, this might be really appropriate. I'm gonna share the opening quote of the book as the closing words for today.
Okay, go
Um,
for it.
and it was written by Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel.
Hmm.
And he said, well, he wrote, our goal should be to live life in radical amazement. Get up in the morning and look at the world in a way that takes nothing for granted. Everything is phenomenal. Everything is incredible. Never treat life as casual.
Wow, very powerful. And thank you so much. And thank you for being fabulous guest today. As we
Thank you.
You're welcome. As we collectively get over it to the audience, thank you for being with us. And do get your awe factor going because it's going to make life a whole lot happier. You can choose to be miserable or you can choose to find that awe. I'm choosing awe. And I want everybody to remember that the most important choice that you can make is what you choose to make important. Consider making the masterful choice of finding your awe factor. Abundant blessings, light, and love to all. Agape.